What's goody Vibe Tribe? Today's episode, we're taking a look at female sneaker designers you may not have known before, but you can learn a lot from and get your inspirational vibes going. So if you're new to the channel, you know what to do to the channel. Subscribe now. Olivia Kim, Yu An, and Lee May. You probably know these names, but you may not have heard of these female designers. Each designer has her own story and philosophy, which may inspire you. So get ready, Vibe Tribe, and let's get it. In 2020, Charlotte Lee designed the New Balance 327, a completely new silhouette, whose success surprised both the designer and the brand. Lee drew inspiration from archives of the American sneaker brand and created an entirely new model. Lee hails from the UK and began her career at New Balance as an intern in late 2014. Less than a year later, she joined the company full-time, and in 2018, she started working for the MB327. She said as soon as she shared her designs with the team, they knew this shoe had to be launched differently. The model looked like it belonged on the runway. They loved the model, and it worked perfectly with their collection. Sarah Sabino, senior footwear designer for Adidas. The designer mixes her artistic background with her love of sneakers in her designs. Her career began at Converse, but now at Adidas, she's instrumental in major collaborations such as Pharrell, Yeezy, and Ivy Park. See, her path to sneaker design was rather unusual, which is why she hopes to inspire and encourage the next generations of footwear designers to follow her example. The impossible shall become possible. Judy Close is the designer of the Reebok Shaq Attack. Basketball and sneakers go together like peas and carrots. The Shaq Attack, Reebok's first signature basketball shoe in collaboration with Shaquille O'Neal, was designed by no other, Judy Close. Neither the basketball player nor the designer had anticipated the success of the Shaq Attack before its release. In 1987, she began working at Reebok, first helping other designers, and then moving into working on training shoes. As part of the agreement between Shaquille O'Neal and Reebok, the basketball player was given his own sneaker line. With only 4 months until the start of the season, the challenge was handed over to Judy Close. Together with her team and input from O'Neal, she delivered the Shaq Attack in time for O'Neal to wear it on his professional debut. She said the best advice she can give is to just stay persistent and step up. If you don't think the product or company is moving in the right direction, step up and make your voice heard. Believe in yourself and know that you are worthy of speaking up. Marni Gerber, designer of the Nike Air Swoops. Marni Gerber started her career in the sneaker scene at the same time as Judy Close by designing the first ever basketball shoe for women. When the Women's National Basketball Association was launched under the NBA umbrella in the summer of 1997, it was obvious that Sheryl Swoopes would be the first player to officially join the newly formed female counterpart professional league long known as Women's Jordan. Swoopes was the woman who, much like Michael Jordan, showered their opponents with points by the dozen while gracefully embodying the league's competitiveness. So it was only logical that she became the first woman to get her own signature shoe. It was a groundbreaking moment in the sports industry, literally following the footsteps of the Air Jordan franchise. In order to meet all of Sheryl's performance needs and incorporate her own sense of style, the Air Swoops was to be designed by a woman as well as Marni Gerber. Sheryl debuted her first sneaker during the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta. The shoe featured an eye-catching block Velcro closure that provided a secure fit for swoops, explosiveness, and drives while also giving the sneaker an iconic look. Shitos Abe, designer of the Nike X, Sacai, Blazer Mid, LD Waffle, and the Vapor Waffle. Perhaps most of you already know this Japanese woman. She was born on 9 November 1965 in the small town of Gifu. And when she was a girl, her mother introduced her to the textiles and fabrics because she worked as a seamstress. After graduating, she found a job at the clothing company Whirlco Ltd. But after just 1 year, she moved to the fashion brand Como des Garçons. After 8 years at the woman-owned label CDG, she then landed a job as a pattern maker at Junya Watanabe for 2 years. Another 2 years later, she took maternity leave, encouraged by her husband, and because she couldn't keep her feet still, she started her own label, Sacai From Home. Although the designer learned from the best, it took a while for Sacai to catch on with the international audience. The brand finally took the cake in Paris in 2018 when it unveiled its futuristic collaboration with Nike on the LD Waffle Racer. The silhouette was sold out within seconds, and now you have to pay horrendous prices at the resale. Georgina James is director of women's footwear at Nike. While growing up in the UK, Georgina James is also interested in fashion. This was of course the reason why she studied both fashion and shoe design at Cordwainers College Art and Design. Before Nike, she designed shoes for brands like Kangol, Lacoste, and JD Sports. But it was her passion for sports and working on functional products that helped her gain a foothold at Nike. She remembers exactly her first pair of Nike sneakers, for which she had to save up for a long time. It was the Air Max BW in white and gray. She says, "I remember putting them on and feeling like I was amazing and I could accomplish anything." She herself calls the reimagined launch in 2018 one of her career highlights. She said, "You get the feeling when you're designing that you're really empowering women to do sport and helping to change their lives. That gives you a sense of achievement, being proud about what you're doing, and really believing in the reason behind what you're doing." Rox Brown, the designer of Air Jordan 1 High Rox Brown and the Nike Air Force 1 High Jester. See, Brown has over 90,000 followers on Instagram and is known for her eccentric personal style. She got her start in the fashion industry years ago at the Billionaire Boys Club boutique in Soho, where she took a job at V-Files in 2013. In an interview with Ellie, she shared that she literally walked into the shop with no resume and left with a job. During her times at V-Files, she held the title of Director of VIP Services. Most recently, she has been lauded as a catalyst for the amazing rise of rapper Lil Yachty. Her web show, What Rocks, offers a fresh, outspoken perspective on hip-hop style and street culture. And her personal aesthetic has made her a personality in her own right. She said, "I wasn't scared to move forward because I was inspired. Everyone has a passion. I feel like we're already programmed to do certain things. It can turn into something if you're allowed to feed that passion. So I decided to feed mine, and I did." She designed the women's Air Jordan 1 Retro High Premium and the Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG in black and metallic gold. Tiffany Beers, Nike Senior Innovator and Design Contributor on the Nike Air Mag and Nike Hyper Adapt 1.0. See, Tiffany Beers is a trained engineer and lead innovator at Nike. The American Works, the company's vaunted innovation kitchen, so named because Bill Bowerman, one of Nike's founders, used a waffle iron in a kitchen to develop the waffle sole. Her office, on the other hand, is littered with prototypes and drawings of projects considered so important to Nike's future that journalists who refuse to sign non-disclosure agreements are denied entry. On her latest design, a self-binding shoe, she says, "The motor fit, it pulls everything at once, which is very different from how laces work, which pull everything incrementally. The idea goes back to Tinker Hatfield and Mark Parker. They wanted to create the shoe from 1989's Back to the Future Part 2, which Marty McFly puts on his seemingly unimaginable year 2015 without tying the laces himself. In 2005, they decided to take up the project again and brought Bears, who was brand new to Nike. On board, Back to the Future fans had to make do with a limited edition of the futuristic shoe called Nike Mag. The Hyper Adapt shoe now recognizes the foot through sensors inside the shoe, and you can activate a mechanism to tighten the laces. This was a flagship shoe for the company that evoked both nostalgia and a desire for something new. These 7 sneaker designers were made to create. It wasn't all about the money with these queens. They all have a love for creating. Sneaker designers, they're the vibe. They're the ones that use their imagination to inspire with style and comfort. So start designing. Don't wait to create. Mickey made it.